You don't need 15 different techniques to destroy limiting beliefs. All you need is one exercise that works every time you use it. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact neuro-linguistic programming exercise I've used on myself to eliminate beliefs that held me back for years. I've also used it with hundreds of clients. It works better and faster than anything else you've tried. Your results in life don't come from talent. They come from what you believe about yourself. Transform the limiting belief and you free your potential. You're watching this video because either you believe that you have a limiting belief that is holding you back, but you're not quite sure what it is, or you've identified a limiting belief and that's what you want to transform. It's really important to get this part right because I think a lot of people think they know what's holding them back and they actually don't. It's sort of like getting into a car, turning it on, and then you start pushing on the gas and you hear the engine revving, but nothing's happening. You're not moving. Really what that comes down to is you're not aware that you have to put it in gear. And so once you put it in gear, then you can finally move. And sometimes it's really that simple. To make this work well, it's important to be very clear about what the limitation is. It's about going deep enough to know what is that core belief that's really holding you back. And most of the time, it's the beliefs we have about ourselves. What we tend to be more aware of is the way we feel and our surface beliefs. So if I want to succeed at something and it's not happening, then I might look outwardly and think, okay, am I in the right business? Am I in the right economy? And if it's really those factors that are causing the problem, that's actually a pretty easy fix. And I can switch businesses or jobs. I can go to a different market and put my business there and see how it works out. It's really important to distinguish what might be a problem that can be solved with a practical solution versus something that feels like it's holding you back and you're not sure what it is, or you might be aware that you believe something very negative, very limiting that's holding you back. A good example of this for myself is when I really struggled with being as successful as I wanted to be and making the money that I wanted to make. It seemed like I could only get up to a certain level. Like I could make enough money where I could pay my bills and my rent and even save a little bit, but I couldn't quite get myself to that comfortable place that I wanted to be. And that was tied into not being able to get my business quite to the place that I wanted it to be. It felt like something was just holding me back. So I went into asking myself, is there something that I believe that is holding this back? You want to do this line of questioning to really smoke out the limiting belief. So I started asking myself, is there anything that I believe about making money? And is there anything that I believe about my business that is holding me back? The surface beliefs that started to come out were things like, well, maybe what I'm offering just doesn't have enough broad appeal. Maybe what I'm offering doesn't have enough value or people aren't seeing the value. And these are all related to more external beliefs. Well, what is out there? What is the possibility and the potential that's out there? That's likely to be the place where these beliefs start to come out. We want to go deeper than this. We want to start asking ourselves questions like, what would I have to believe about myself to believe that's true? And this is where it starts to go really deep. The highest leverage point for any belief you want to transform are going to be beliefs about yourself. The reason for that is you take you wherever you go. One thing is certain, that throughout your time, throughout your history, and no matter what context you go in, you come with you everywhere you go. So your beliefs come with you everywhere you go. If you change a belief about the external world, that might have an effect in just that particular area, that particular context. But if you change a belief about yourself, that's going to have a wide-ranging effect over all of the contexts in your life and throughout time, meaning you're going to continue to feel this way or believe this way into the future. When we change a limiting belief about ourselves, this is going to be the most bang for your buck. And this is why you want to take this deeper. Another example of this is maybe I believe that the world is a hostile place. That's a belief about the world around me. And if somebody told me that as a client, I could probably narrow them down to specific contexts. What I would think right away is, well, what does that person believe about themselves that makes them believe the world is a hostile place? That's a much more interesting belief and one that is going to pay much higher dividends when you transform it. So if I ask that person, what must you believe about yourself to believe that you live in a hostile world? Probably what's going to come out is a belief that they feel like they're a victim. If they continue believing that they are a victim, and I help that person transform the belief about the hostile world, they may feel like they live in a less hostile world, but they're still carrying this belief around that they're a victim. And if you continue to believe something like that, you will find a way to be a victim everywhere you go, because this is an identity belief. That's the belief you want to take care of, more so than the outer world belief. Now, if we do transform that belief from that person from believing that they are a victim to believing that they are a successful person, or they're an assertive person, authentic person, whatever it is that would counter the victim, that's going to change their belief about the world automatically. If you stop believing you're a victim and you believe you are something positive, that outward belief about the world has to change. And this is what I mean by it's the highest leverage point. You change beliefs about yourself, and it's going to have a cascading effect over many beliefs that you have, especially the limiting ones. They're going to transform as well. Step 1, identify the belief. As I went deeper with this situation I was having where I couldn't succeed as much as I wanted to and I couldn't make as much money as I wanted to, I started asking myself those deeper questions about myself. What must I believe in order to be holding this situation in place? And I did not expect the belief that finally surfaced. What came out was I believed that in order to make money, I had to do things that I didn't enjoy. And anything that I did enjoy would never make me money. This was a huge limitation. It was holding me back. Therefore, I could only come up to a certain amount of success if I was doing something I enjoyed. And it was the business that I'm doing right now, because I perpetually believed that because I enjoy this business, it would not ultimately make the money that I wanted to make out of it. And that in order for me to make that kind of money, I would have to go do something else that I didn't enjoy. I'd already spent my entire adult life doing things that I didn't enjoy for money. And I knew there was no future in that. So I needed to change things. The interesting thing too is when this belief finally came to the surface and I looked over my life, it made perfect sense. I had been operating this way my entire life. Anytime that I found something enjoyable and I attempted to monetize it, it failed. And whenever I would do things that I didn't enjoy doing, that's where I made money to pay my bills. But I was getting to a point where I couldn't do that anymore. Step 2, choose a new belief. You don't want to just destroy the limiting belief. That's not going to work very well. What happens when you do that, and it is possible to do that. I used to do that whenever I was going to NLP trainings. And what that does is it creates a vacuum. And when you create that kind of vacuum without replacing it with something, it can create a lot of problems. Also, what happens when you bust up a limiting belief without replacing it with something, it can tend to make you feel euphoric, almost like you're on a drug, like you're feeling high. Now, you might be thinking, why would I not want to do that? It might feel good, but things that feel good aren't necessarily good for us. I mean, we know this, right? Alcohol's not good for us, but it feels good. Eating really bad food feels good, but it's not good for us. I would go to these NLP trainings and I would bust up some of my limiting beliefs without replacing it with anything. And I would feel this euphoric high. And then after the training was over, I would want to just get back into that training because I wanted that euphoric high. It wasn't actually helping me accomplish anything. If you ever seen someone right after they come back from a Tony Robbins seminar, they're in that euphoric high. They probably busted up some limiting beliefs. And at that first step, that's a good thing. But if you don't replace it with anything, it's actually a very unstable place to be. And we end up doing things, making decisions that aren't good. We might invest in something that's too risky, and we might end up losing a lot of money, or things just don't work out. But when you're in that euphoric state, you kind of feel invincible. That's not something you want to feel. Think about it like this. If there was a bridge that was old and it had a faulty foundation, you don't want to go and just destroy the foundation. That would make the bridge collapse. You want to repair and transform the foundation. And how you do that is a piece at a time, so that as you're removing parts of the faulty foundation, that you're replacing it with stronger, better parts. We want to do the same thing with beliefs. How do we replace it? Well, we first have to know, what is it you want to believe instead? So once you've identified the limiting belief, ask yourself that question: what do I want to believe instead? So for me and my money belief, the limiting belief was I can't make money doing anything I enjoy. And in order to make money, I have to do things that I don't enjoy. The belief that I wanted to believe instead was that I could make more money doing something that I enjoy. So that kind of became my thesis at that point. And that's what you want to do. Identify the limiting belief, identify what it is you want to believe instead. Step 3, map the structure. For this next part that I'm going to give you, I'm basically going to give you the overview and the theory. And what you'll want to do is, in the description of this video, there is a link to a PDF that will walk you through the exercise step by step. You can also scan this QR code. So it's that exercise that when you run your limiting belief through it, this is how you transform it. Listen to this overview first, and then go get the PDF. Start going through the exercise, and if you need to come back to this video to understand better the different parts of the exercise, come on back and do that. And if you still don't understand it, put a comment below, ask me questions, I will respond to you. This next part is really where the magic happens. It looks like magic whenever you see it. It feels like magic when you actually do it, but there's a very practical step-by-step application for it. This is the exercise that separates the people who will actually use it and transform their beliefs and then go on to create the life that they want to live, from the people who won't do the exercise, won't learn this process, and then they're just going to keep jumping from one personal development and self-help trend after another, and none of these things are actually going to deliver. So be the person who actually does this work, and you will see it pays off big time. There is nothing else like it. There is nothing else that can replace the work. And what it really comes down to is learning the structure of your beliefs, the structure that creates that sense of certainty. Most of your beliefs are unconscious, which means you're not even aware that you have them. And most beliefs don't feel like beliefs. Beliefs feel like your reality. Your reality is governed by your beliefs, especially the unconscious ones. Why is that so? Because they're outside of your conscious awareness. You don't even know that they're there. You're just living by them. You're aligning to them. Beliefs give us a sense of certainty. And we thrive on certainty. We're always going to follow something that looks more clear, more certain, rather than moving toward chaos and confusion. It is the structure of your beliefs that create that certainty. We tend to think of the beliefs themselves, the content of the beliefs, what the belief means to us, as the belief itself, but it's really the structure, because without that structure, it doesn't feel certain. We also tend to believe that we just have these sort of random thoughts and random ideas and random memories, as well as just random feelings. This is not random at all. There is a very tight structure to all of this, and this structure can be known if you know how to ask the right questions and you know what you're looking for. This reminds me of a trip that I took to Egypt, and I went to the Great Pyramids of Giza, and one of the pyramids that I visited was the Bent Pyramid, which was, when they started constructing it, they realized at a certain point that the pyramid was actually going to collapse on itself. So they had to course correct as they were building the pyramid, and it looked so terrible that the pharaoh at the time said, "Start all over." And so they built a completely new pyramid, and that was the Red Pyramid. Now, one of the things that you probably have often heard about these pyramids is that they were so precise that you could not even slide a knife in between the stones. When I first heard that, I thought the people who were building it were just showing off, right? And that's not really true. What I learned whenever I actually visited the pyramid was that in order to build something that big, if they were just 1 millimeter off, that pyramid would collapse on itself. So for it to go from the ground to the height of the point of that pyramid, you had to get everything just perfect and precise, or that thing would fall apart. It is the structure that holds these pyramids together. And once the ancient Egyptians knew that blueprint, or had that blueprint, then they could just keep replicating it. They didn't have to start all over and figure it out all the time. Just like you would want to use the blueprint of a successful pyramid to replicate that structure, you want to do the same thing with a belief that you believe about yourself that feels extremely certain and that you like about yourself. For me, my belief that I'm a persistent person, this is a belief that has persisted throughout my entire lifetime. It's a belief that I've always known about myself. It has felt so certain that it doesn't even feel like a belief. It feels like a fact. And I like this about myself. So that is the belief that I use as a model, as a blueprint. I extracted the structure of that. And then once you have that, all you have to do is map in experiences that support the belief that you want to believe. It is really that simple. Now, it does take practicing this because you're not used to accessing these unconscious processes and structures. So in order to do that, it might take you some time of working through the exercise that I give you in the PDF. But once you do, once you have that model, it is literally just a matter of mapping in experiences. Now, you might say, well, where do these experiences come from that I'm supposed to map in to support this new belief? As if you haven't lived those experiences. You have, in fact, lived those experiences. You're just overlooking them right now. For the belief that I wanted to believe about my money situation, that I could make more money and be more successful doing something that I enjoy, I had to map that information into this structure, what we call the template of your certain solid beliefs. So I had to go looking. Had I ever had experiences where I enjoyed myself making money? They weren't immediately top of mind, but when I started really looking into them, I could find experiences of me enjoying myself while I was making money. And as I started to map that information into the positive template, it started to feel stronger and stronger. And as it felt stronger and stronger, it was easier to find more and more memories of that. I started imagining myself doing things that I enjoyed and those things making money. And I kept putting that into my positive template, until it felt very certain and solid, until it finally flipped over as a belief that I believed that, yes, in fact, I can make more money doing something that I enjoy. And then I took it even further than that. I asked myself, am I a joyful person? And at the time, I didn't feel certain and solid about that. It felt like, well, sometimes I'm joyful, sometimes I'm not. So I started taking joyful experiences and I started mapping them into this template until I came to a new belief. I am a joyful person. And now that I'm a joyful person, it's a lot easier to make money and being joyful at the same time, and just being joyful doing the work that I'm doing, and it naturally comes a lot easier to make money that way. So you want to take that exercise and model a belief that you feel certain about and that you like about yourself, and that becomes the template for you to map in the content, the experiences, the lived experiences that you've had to support the new belief that you want to believe. And this will cause the limiting belief to flip over and turn into the new positive belief that you want to believe. And if you want to see me doing this in real time with a real client, watch this next video.